Do you remember when we were thinking about subtraction and its relationship to addition? We discovered that A plus B is the same thing as A minus B is the same thing as A plus the inverse of B. Well, multiplication and division have a similar feel to it. They're both also related. And they're related with this idea called a multiplicative inverse. What a multiplicative inverse is, remember when we did something like 8 divided by 2. How do we do that division problem? Well, we changed the division to a multiplication of its inverse, of its reciprocal. So this became 8 times 1/2. So 2 and 1/2 are inverses of each other. If I have a number like, for example, 5, what would you say its inverse is? It's two numbers when multiplied produce a 1, or their product is 1. So 5 times what equals a 1? Well, that'd be a 5 times a 1/5 equals a 1. A 1/3 times what? What's the inverse of 1/3? It would be a 3. Because multiplying both of those together produce a 1. So what these numbers are inverses. The inverse of a -4, of a negative number, what's the inverse of that? Something times a -4 has to produce a positive 1. So that would be a 1/4, but it has to have a positive result. So negative times that negative. So negative 1/4 is the inverse of a -4. And a -4/5. Its inverse would be a -5/4 because those two factors produce a 1. So this idea of multiplicative inverses can be helpful for us as we start to think about what our rule will be for division coming on up. So A divided by B can equal A times the inverse of B. And so let's use that tool as we explore how to divide real numbers in our real numbers. Divide numbers in our real set of numbers. There, let me try to say it that way.